Hey guys, today I'm setting up a front entryway, and this thing's really funny shape. That's why I think you'll find it kind of interesting. But also, we're going to be using some of my favorite DeWALT tools here to get this formed up. Now this video is sponsored by DeWALT. They sent me these tools, and I'm showing you how we use them and why. I'm going to be telling you, why we like them. Now I might use these tools a little bit different than what the manufacturer suggests, so make sure if you use them you follow the manufacturer's suggestions on how to use the tools properly. But today, like I said, it's a 6-inch slab entry. Now DeWALT makes really good tape measures. If you guys didn't know, these tape measures, this is a 25 footer. We use it to measure all our forms out with. Now again, that's the caretaker of this house. The owners aren't here right now. This is basically a summer home for them on the ocean. This guy takes care of their properties, and he's kind of given us the instructions and directions on what he wants for these entryways. We got an entryway here. We also got a small walkway that's right next to this. That'll be in another video, and then a big patio out back. That'll also be in another video. But today I'm just showing you how we're forming this up. So I'm using the battery circular saw back there to get my forms cut to the length I need them at for the most part. And then we're also going to be using the DeWALT drill driver. Again, another tool we use a lot when we form up. We like to use screws when we do our forming because I feel like the screws hold the forms together a lot tighter. And then when we go to strip the forms, they're a lot easier to take apart than using nails. So we'll be using the drill driver for that. That circular saw there, that battery saw cuts boards just like an electric. It has the power of an electric one, with the convenience of a battery, obviously. And it fits really nice into the toolbox. You can just get it out on the job site like we do here and just use it without having to worry about dragging a cord around, especially on a job like this. See, some of these older houses, it was a struggle sometimes to find outside power on a house. So the battery operated tools are 10 times better these days than it was years ago when we didn't have any batteries. Now Darren's using the drill driver. He's getting the forms, like I said, he's screwing them together at the funny angles those are at. We didn't choose these angles. This was all painted on the ground for us to give us an idea of what to go by. So this shape was all chosen kind of by the caretaker and then approved for by the homeowner. So we're just following instructions on what to do. Might not have been necessarily what I would have done or what you would do, but it's what they wanted based on, the landscaping, walking out of the building. So we're just doing what we've been told. Now again, good shot of the saw there, cutting that 2x6. Cuts 2x6 stuff really easy. I think I got a 5 amp battery in that thing. It holds all types of different size batteries. I got from 2 amp all the way up to 9 amp batteries I can put in that. And then we're just getting our boards cut to try to fit the shapes. Kind of, a lot of stuff, a lot of entryways we do are more, I would say, standard, more normal shape, whether they're a square, a rectangle, something like that, we're kind of squaring it up and making sure that everything looks nice and straight according to, maybe the edge of a house or maybe like even with the lawn or something like that. This one's just pretty random. So we're just putting it together as we go here according to those orange lines that are painted in the ground. Now this is what the drill driver makes really simple. If you're using torque screws like we do, I mean with the right bit, the T25 bit into that drill driver, and it just drills those screws right down through there. So in order to form two boards together, we always screw one into the back of it like that to hold it nice and snug and tight. And then we can lengthen the form to whatever length we need. So we'll use the drill driver for not only for screwing the forms together to make them longer, but also in all the ends to screw all like the corners together. And then there's one more use we use it for a lot too. I'll show you that right in a second. We also use metal pins for our stakes. Now what you can't see here was there's ledge, there's rock right underneath this gravel. In most places the rock is probably 6 inches under the gravel. So these pins, it was hard to get them in down below the forms. Usually we like to to drive them all the way down below the forms, but sometimes we'd drive one in, it would go right to the form, and then other times we'd drive it in and it would hit the rock about 6 inches above the form. It was pretty random, actually. So whoever dug this out, you know, they dug it down to that ledge and then they filled it back in with this gravel, compacted it, and got it all prepped for us. Now here's one of my favorite tools. Since I'm the guy that shoots a lot of the grades most of the times when we're on the job, is I really love the DeWALT self-leveling laser. And they have a couple of them. We actually have 2 of them. This one's really nice. It's really simple. So I get out the DeWALT tripod like that, and I just kind of set it in place. I like setting it when I'm shooting grades, you know, somewhere in the middle of the project if I can, if it's going to be out of the way. I don't worry about getting the tripod like perfectly level, just somewhat level by eye, and then I screw the self-leveling laser right into the bottom of it. And then I just hit the on button, and then it'll just self-level itself. So that's probably about the simplest part of the whole process right there, is just setting up the laser level, turning it on, and then it self-levels. And once it's level, it starts spinning. And now you get the laser beam, gives you a really nice level measuring beam to go by. Now I get the receiver out. I use my grade stick. On my grade stick I have like a yardstick, so I have numbers to go by on my grade stick. And I'm just shooting the level of that piece of granite. I want to be 7.5 inches down with my concrete from that granite. So it wants to be like a 7.5 inch step down. So once I find the level of the granite, I can move the receiver up 7.5 inches. That drops my grade stick down 7.5 inches. And that tells me where I want to be with the top of my forms. So, you know, using a laser is really key when especially if you're a contractor. You know, it makes things go really fast. But if you're a homeowner, if you're a DIYer and you're looking to set something up for yourself and you're going to pour some concrete, this one's really inexpensive. You can get it on Amazon. I'll have a link for it down in the description. But it's well worth the money. You'll use it for multiple things if you have it. We use it literally like every day we're working. We use a self-leveling laser. So one of the easiest ones I've ever found to use is this one right here. Now we're adjusting the receiver as we set the forms, because we want these forms to all slope away from the house. So when we get the concrete pad poured, everything slopes away from the house, basically down to this bottom left-hand corner, and that's kind of like where the driveway is, and any water that runs off this is gonna run off it into the driveway, and then obviously away down the driveway. So it's real easy to set not just flat stuff, but you can set different levels of things. If I want to drop that an inch right there based on where I started up against the house, I just move the receiver up an inch and it drops the grade down an inch. And then if I want to be an inch or two lower here, again, I just adjust the receiver and wait till I find the laser beam on it, and that tells me the level I need to be at. And then I can screw the forms to the metal pins using the same drill driver, using the same screws. That's going to hold the forms in place and get them ready for the pour. So the 3 tools, you know, we use a lot when we form are the battery saw, as you see right there in front of you, the drill driver with the torque bit, and then the self-leveling laser. And then, you know, I got my tape measure. I use that just about with everything, my DeWALT tape measure. I don't know if you noticed, but the gloves I'm wearing, actually the gloves I'm wearing and the glasses I'm wearing are by DeWALT too. Those gloves, like I've had those gloves for a whole year without them wearing out, working and stuff like this, pouring with concrete. DeWALT's those work gloves right there are great. I'll definitely put a link for them down there. You're going to want to get some of those. Those are going to last you a long time. And then just the safety glasses I'm wearing. They have probably a dozen different types of safety glasses you could pick from. You know, ones with sunglasses, ones without the shaded lenses and stuff like that. Now what we're doing here, just to finish up the forming process, is we're using fiberglass rebar today. This stuff's really lightweight. This is what they call number 3 rebar, so it's 3/8 rebar, and it's equivalent to the strength of number 4 steel rebar, 1/2-inch steel rebar. So we use the fiberglass bar on a lot of exterior projects like this, especially patios, pool decks, sidewalks. Number one guy can pick up a lot of bars by himself and get them laid out versus using steel. And then cutting this stuff is a breeze. I mean, I'm using DeWALT's pipe threader cutter. Now, it's not made for cutting rebar, so just keep that in mind. But with the fiberglass rebar is so much easier to cut than even threaded rod, that it's just a great tool for being able to cut fiberglass rebar. So again, use it if you get one of those. You know, use it as manufacturers suggested, but we like using it for cutting fiberglass rebar. And then Darren, this is how we tie the rebar together. We use a looped wire tie, and with a yo-yo, I call that a yo-yo, and we just spin it together. It ties everything together really tight. So here's pour day, and here's what it looks like when we're done. There's a little walkway over there we got formed up. Everything's got formed up, set to grade, sloping away from the house, mat of rebar in it, 6 inches thick. Concrete showed up. We're going to end up pouring it. This is all going to be stamped concrete, so you know, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you subscribe. You'll get to see the pour like this. You get to see us using DeWALT's mag floats. Yes, they make concrete tools. We have all kinds of concrete tools made by DeWALT. And then you'll get to see the stamping process and what it looks like when it's all done. So thanks again for watching, guys. Come on back. We'll see you on the next one.